Hello and welcome to the April edition of our Global College Spotlight. Each month, we introduce you to a top university outside of the US where students can pursue full undergraduate degrees that are completely taught in English. Today's Global College Spotlight is featuring the Frankfurt School of Finance and Management. And as the name says, the university is based in Germany's financial hub, the city of Frankfurt. The Frankfurt School is a top-tier business school and known for its rigorous academics, international outlook, and strong industry connections. And it has a Triple Crown accreditation, which is a distinction that is held by less than 1% of business schools worldwide. Today's Global College Spotlight is hosted by Global College Advisors, and I'll share a little bit more about GCA in just a moment. But first, let's go over some housekeeping notes. For anyone who has questions, please know we will have a Q&A session after the presentation. So if you have any questions during the presentation, just put them in the chat so we can get to them later. Secondly, the webinar is being recorded and we will post the video on our YouTube channel later. So please go to the Global College Advisors YouTube channel if you would like to rewatch some of the information that we will share today. To start things off, let's move into some introductions. My name is Cornelia Betschart-Fortes. I'm the founder of Global College Advisors, also GCA in short. At GCA, we connect students with universities across the world, including the United States. And we provide personalized college consulting and help students explore both US and international university options to find the best academic and financial fit. So from college research to essays and application strategy, we support students every step of the way. So before we get into the heart of today's session, let's take a moment to meet our presenter from the Frankfurt School of Finance and Management. We have Benny Lafortune here with us today, who will tell us more about this top-tier business school in Germany and will introduce us to its exciting study programs. Benny grew up in New York City and moved to Germany for his master's degree. So he knows firsthand what it means to transition to another country as an international student and also adjust to another culture. So he's a fantastic contact for future international students. As part of the recruitment team at the Frankfurt School, Benny organizes online and on-campus events. He attends college fairs and visits schools precisely to introduce the university to high school students and their families. He also advises students and families interested in the university in individual consulting appointments and supports future students in the application process to the Frankfurt School. Benny, thank you so much for joining us here today. I will stop sharing my screen and we are ready for your presentation.
Thank you so much, Cornelia, for this introduction. Let me just get my presentation going. Please let me know when you see it.
Yeah, I see the presentation, but I see also the slides on the side.
Okay.
Perfect. Now I see. Yeah, it's on.
Yeah, good.
Yes,
okay.
Perfect.
Great. So yeah, thank you for everyone for joining us this evening or morning, depending on where you're staying. For us, it's evening here. And yeah, as Cornelia said, Frankfurt School is located in the heart of Frankfurt, and Frankfurt is located in the heart of Europe. This makes it a global hub for commerce, for finance, management, banking. And this is a great advantage for our university, of course, because our students then get a great connection to the industry, and our faculty also quite often still work in the industry alongside teaching in our classes. So here a quick overview of what I'm going to talk about today. So obviously I will tell you a little bit about Frankfurt School, a little bit about our language and study models, a little bit about the application process, and some about the student life. So the first question, of course, for all potential students is why Frankfurt School? And this doesn't just apply to Frankfurt School, it applies to universities in general. What are the reasons why I should join this specific university? And at Frankfurt School, we pride ourselves on these three pillars, our academics, our professional support, and our personnel. So I will break down each pillar. In the academics portion, we talk about reasonable class sizes. So usually our classes at Frankfurt School are 50 to 60 students in one course. And we think that gives the students a high degree of personal support from the faculty. As I said before, the faculty quite often still work in the industry. So because of this, it's not just the theoretical approach, but the practical approach is very important to us. Professional support, what I mean by this is we have our own career services department, which is dedicated to helping students from the first semester on to progress towards their future career. So this career services department has career counselors that are dedicated to helping the students. We have a job portal where they can use from the first semester on and even after they have graduated. And we have certain different events that we have on campus for them. That gives our students great prospects. And before they graduate, our students will do 2 or 3 internships. Personnel, so we have a quality of staff that includes faculty, that also includes staff that work at Frankfurt School. Of course, we have a diverse student body also, which adds to the quality of our institution. And we have those direct connections to the economic sector because of our location in Frankfurt and also because of the history of the Frankfurt School. We also have a global alumni network. So Frankfurt School alumni have gone on to work in great institutions, may that be banks such as the Deutsche Bank here in Germany, or also other multinational companies. And they are quite often coming back to campus to give talks or to connect with current students as well. The practical study approach is very important for us at Frankfurt School. So we try to provide students with not just the theory, but many different occasions and opportunities to practice this theory. May that be to case studies or to visits of local companies or visits from managers of top companies to our campus. We also offer, of course, lectures, workshops, presentations. In one of our programs, the Management Philosophy and Economics program, specifically, we have supervisions with lecturers where students may, for example, debate a philosophical position. This is like a one-on-one session with the professor. And that is quite useful, of course, for students to articulate their arguments. As I said, we have guest lectures from managers that come quite often to campus also. And our students can have the possibility to write their bachelor thesis in cooperation with a company. We have a budding international community here at Frankfurt School. It's growing every year. At the moment, we have a third of our students are internationals, and they are represented by more than 40 different nationalities. We have some different events on campus that try to reflect this internationality. We have International Day. We have a buddy initiative where a student, an international student, for example, will be paired with a current student that has been studying at Frankfurt School, and that current student will then show him or her the city, you know, what is there to do as a student, maybe show him a nice spots to eat, but also some more practical things such as how to extend your residence permit or the ins and outs of living in Germany. Frankfurt School is also an English-speaking environment that is more or less the lingua franca of our campus, and even people who are German native speakers are quite comfortable speaking in English. So that is also the language of instruction, as I will say. I will say a little bit more about that later on. Of course, when you have an international campus, what you have is a lot of culinary options also for anyone who enjoys food. We also have an event on campus where different international students may bring food from their culture. So that kind of reflects the diversity of our campus as well. Last but not least, Frankfurt is home to top international employers. So a lot of multinational companies have their base here. The European Central Bank is also located in Frankfurt. Because of this, then the city itself is international, and you could see it in the streets, honestly. When you walk around Frankfurt, a lot of times you may hear English as often as you would hear German being spoken. So as Cornelius said, we are a triple accredited university. That means we have this AACSB rank accreditation, this EQUIS accreditation, and this Association of MBAs accreditation. And we are one of 4 universities in Germany that have these 3 accreditations. And I believe around 130 universities around the world in total these 3 accreditations. We also ranked quite high in the rankings in Germany. We are #1 for private business schools in Germany in terms of employability. As I keep mentioning, the city of Frankfurt does lend itself well to this ranking, but it also has to do with the network connections that we've been able to develop over the years. And we are also usually ranked top 3 or #1 for business administration in Germany. So you've decided that the why you should study for Frankfurt School is solved, and now you want to learn about our bachelor programs. We offer 3. The first one is business administration, which is, of course, the classical business program that people study. You will see that there are 7 semesters, and the ones that are in navy blue are the core semesters. So this core curriculum could be studied either in German or in English. So if someone is a native German speaker, they could do the first 3 semesters in German, but eventually the program will switch to English anyways. The other option is to do it fully in English. So the light blue sections are concentration modules. So the 4th semester and the 6th semester, you will be able to customize. That means you will be able to focus on an area such as marketing, international management, sustainability, banking and finance, consulting and finance, etc. So this program is really customizable for students who we provide them, of course, the core basic modules that we think is needed for a business career. And then after that, they can kind of decide which direction they want to go to. So in the 5th semester, there's a mandatory semester abroad. This gives students the opportunity to get some more international experience. Even if they are an international student, maybe they can then kind of move on to a so-called third culture. And that also gives you the chance to maybe do an internship abroad or something similar. In the 6th and 7th semester, they then come back to campus, and this is when they do the elective courses. This is, again, more chances for them to customize their degree. And of course, in the last bit of the program, they work towards their thesis. So just another kind of like visual for the language and study models. The business administration program can be studied in German or English. I mean, the first 3 semesters in German, eventually in English, or fully in English. So the full-time model will be 5 days of courses, or 4 or 5 days of courses. And this could be any day from Monday to Saturday. So that's why we kind of picture it this way. There is another option whereby if a student is either a native German speaker or is fluent in German, they could do the so-called 3-day model, where they do 3 days on campus studying and 3 days working with a cooperation company, so a cooperation partner. This model, as I said, is only for German speakers. So I'm not sure how much it's interesting for our audience, but just to mention. The second bachelor program that we offer is a Computational Business Analytics. So this program is very similar to the BBA in its length, but it's different in that it's more specific in the direction of data science, in the direction of analytics. So this program is specifically for students who are really good at math or really interested in math. You know, they like to crunch down the numbers. They like to learn about statistics. Maybe they have an interest in computer science or in artificial intelligence, machine learning, and stuff like this. Then we, of course, provide them the basics for such a degree. the core curriculum, again, is in navy blue. You will see that there is only one concentration module in this program. That is because this program is already a little bit more focused. But that is not to say that if someone wants to work in business or even in finance, in banking later on, that they shouldn't study this program. On the contrary, they do get these business courses as well, or these business modules. So they still learn about management, they still learn about financial accounting, corporate finance, marketing, etc. It's just then comes the data science bits on top as well, which makes it a really comprehensive program. The second half of the degree looks pretty similar. There's the semester abroad in the 5th semester, some elective modules in the 6th and 7th, as well as a concentration module. These concentrations are also similar to the ones that we had in the business administration. So some examples would be sustainability, marketing, entrepreneurship, banking, finance, consulting. In the 7th semester, again, they work towards the bachelor thesis. The third program I will introduce today is the Management Philosophy and Economics program. So this one is similar to the Computational Business Analytics in that it is more specific, but this one is probably the most interdisciplinary program we offer at Frankfurt School. This one is specifically for students who like to think outside of the box, let's say, students who are very inquisitive, who like to ask a lot of questions, maybe who have an interest in politics, or students who don't want simply a business degree. We do offer business courses. You still learn about management, finance, accounting, marketing, and so on. But then we add on subjects such as ethics, politics, logic, and this is also the program where students get this kind of like one-on-one session with their professors where they kind of like have to argue a specific position. The second half of the program is pretty similar again to all our other ones. The semester abroad, the concentration module in the 6th semester. This one, you still have the opportunity to also, for example, do a concentration in banking. So the career options will be kind of like similar to the ones that you would have in the business administration, but you might also have a broad range of options because it is interdisciplinary and it touches on certain different, it brings different skills than the business administration, for example. So I mentioned those concentrations. These are the ones we offer: innovation and entrepreneurship. We also have an entrepreneurship center at Frankfurt School, which is interesting for students who want to have their own business, for example, so they can develop those ideas there. Sustainability, international management, banking and finance, consulting and finance, corporate governance, transactions, marketing, and digital business. The ones on the bottom left, the two on the bottom left are in German. So that's why it's also written like this. It's not a typo, but they are for German speakers because it has to do with like corporate law in Germany and transactions in Germany. If a student decides to do this 3-day model with a cooperation partner, of course, this is offered only to German speakers. They can do this in these areas: auditing and consulting, digital business, and finance. And these are the companies that are our cooperation partners at the moment. The benefits of this will be, of course, that you get a secure job during your studies. Quite often, the employer will cover a portion of your tuition fees, and you can get an attractive salary from the very beginning. The semester abroad is usually a fun time for our students. It's a time where, if they wanted to visit a specific country, they can take the chance to do that. If they want to practice let's say, their French or their Spanish, they can also do this. We have over 147 partner universities around the world. These are just some examples in this map, but the amount of countries is, of course, much more than this. If a student decides not to go to a partner university, they can also go at what is called a free mover. So they are able to go to a university of their choice. The only thing is, of course, as a free mover, you won't be guaranteed that this partner university has a seat for you. But of course, our international office will help those students in finding the place of their choice. So, if someone decides to apply, the application process is pretty simple. You start with the online application and you will upload all your documents online. And after that, within 2 or 3 weeks, our admissions office will give you feedback and potentially invite you to our assessment center. In this assessment center, you will do a math test, a cognitive test, an English test, and an interview. This assessment center also takes place online, so it's very convenient for students to complete it. This will take place all on the same day. For example, the math test, the cognitive test, and the English test may take place from 9 to 12 in the morning, and the interview will take place like at 1 p.m., for example. 2 weeks after this assessment center, then you will get the final decision from our admissions team. So the third step says admission committee. So yeah, our admissions team meets and decides which students can then be offered a place at Frankfurt School. And the final step would then be to sign the study contract, and then you can be enrolled as a Frankfurt School student. Some important dates to keep in mind: the application portal usually opens on September 1st of the, so for example, for 2026, it would open this September, so 2025. The application portal closes on June 30th. So for students who want to start this September, the application deadline will be June 30th. We do encourage students to apply as early as possible, especially international students, because we know that it may take some time for their visa to come through, and especially for accommodation. As with every big city, accommodation in Frankfurt is a bit on the harder side. So it's always better to get these things done ahead of time. So what is there to do for students at Frankfurt School? I'll talk a little bit more about our campus first. Obviously, a lot of people joining virtually may not get the chance to visit our campus in person, but this is kind of what it looks like. It is Danish architecture, so there's a lot of kind of like open space and a lot of sun coming in during the day. So it's really bright on a summer day, for example. We have 40 seminar rooms. As I said, our rooms are usually limited to 60 students maximum. We do have one auditorium that has 400 seats, but this is usually reserved for special occasions. We have the library that is open 24/7. Students can always get access to there. And especially during exam season, this is really important because we know that students have different kind of models of studying. Some people prefer to study during the morning, some at night. So it is open for everyone. We have several lounges and terraces where students can enjoy some cool fresh air. Right now it's starting to be springtime, so this is starting to kind of get busy with students enjoying a fresh air during their class breaks and stuff like this. We have a deli and cafeteria on campus. We have the entrepreneurship center that I mentioned, where students can pitch their ideas and potentially get funding. We have some dorms that are right next to the campus. They are quite new, and students can apply for those dorms once they have been accepted as a student, once they have signed the study contract. Our campus is also very sustainable. We've been awarded the Platinum Seal by the German Sustainable Building Council, and we try to use renewable energies on our campus. I mentioned about the career services department earlier. This is usually a big bonus point for us at Frankfurt School because our students can take advantage of all of these things from their first day as a student. They get career counseling. This is personalized to them and their there are different pathways. We have Job Teaser, which is an online career portal where you kind of get tips. You know, you can schedule counseling sessions. You get information about different events. We had a career day event on campus last year, which attracted, I believe, 92 companies on campus, and then students kind of get to communicate with their representatives, you know, ask about internships, ask about what profile of students those companies are looking for, and so on. We have different workshops throughout the school year. We have company events where companies have, you know, maybe events for their own managers and their own workers on our campus. So it's usually quite busy. And of course, that all gives opportunities for our students to network. There are also student initiatives that are organized by our students. They range from stuff like personal and professional development to stuff like social engagement, stuff that's more cultural or art related, and sports. So these student initiatives are run by the students themselves, and it gives the students a chance to kind of take responsibility early on in their study career. So as I said, some highlights would be the Model United Nations, which recently traveled to New York to participate um, in the Model United Nations event. We have stuff like student consulting, which is really big also on campus. Of course, the major sports are also represented. If there was to be an initiative that is not that doesn't exist yet, a student can even create their own initiative as long as they find enough students that sign up for it also, and then they can kind of found their own initiative. So that's pretty interesting also. You may be wondering what it's like to live in Frankfurt. As Cornelia said, I do have some personal experience myself. I moved to Frankfurt, not speaking a word of German. And at first, it was easy to integrate because it's an international city and mostly everyone speaks English to some level, and you can always get around. Um, it does help to eventually learn German. I did, and then you definitely do feel at home over here. It's a very modern city, a very cosmopolitan city. A lot of different nationalities are reflected on the streets. There are a lot of top employers here, international companies, and is generally student friendly and safe. So there are a lot of different student activities to do. It is not as big as a city in terms of, I guess, surface area as people think. So that also makes it very easy to navigate. You can get anywhere in the city within 20 to 30 minutes. In terms of the population, it is just under 800,000 people. That is the official population. During the day, it can go up to 1.2 millions or around thereabouts because a lot of people come from outside of Frankfurt to work. As I said, it is the business hub of Germany. So a lot of people come from outside to work in Frankfurt. The population is 70% international. It is the sixth busiest airport in Europe. And in terms of quality of life, it is ranked in the top 10 also. I would like to take the opportunity to tell you about some events that we have coming up. We have our Bachelor Day event, which takes place on our campus, and it's a day filled with different activities such as trial lectures, campus tours, um, different speeches, and also different stands where people can, you know, learn about different financing options, get to know our professors and our students, of course, those trial lectures as I said, and also to get a closer look at our bachelor programs. So if anyone can have the opportunity or, you know, by coincidence is in Germany around that time, they can take the chance to visit our Bachelor Day. We also offer a pre-university summer school. So this is targeted to students who are from 16 to 19 years old. Before they start the bachelor programs, they can come to campus for a week and they can, you know, work on their public speaking and presentation skills. They can work on a business case. They can develop their leadership skills or management skills. Of course, it is a chance to practice your intercultural competencies as well. And we, of course, visit all the leading companies that are in the area. And we try to focus on the areas of finance, data, consulting, and so on. So if anyone wants to know more about this, they can visit our website, or they can contact us at the contact information that we will share at the end. Thank you so much for joining us, or for taking the chance to watch this session. And if you have any more questions, I have a contact form here, but I think Cornelia has one that she will also share at the end. If anyone wants to scan this QR code to register for our mailing list, they can do so. That way, they will always get the chance to know about our programs, if we have trial lectures and other online events, and that they can always take part in this. Thank you.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for this wonderful presentation, Benny. That was awesome. It's a great opportunity for students who want to study finance and business internationally, I think. Especially you have everything in English. They can pursue this whole program all in English, and no other language is needed in that sense.
Yeah,
Even though
definitely.
what you said, it's obviously helpful the longer you live there if you speak a little bit the native language too, if you learn it at least, right? So
Yeah.
it's really helpful. So yeah, as you see, I put the final slide on with some contact details in case people would like to follow up or learn more. And let's see if we have any questions in the chat. Actually, I don't see any right now. So I have a couple for you, actually, Benny. So following up, you explained the admissions process very well. But I was wondering, because I get this question a lot from my families, how can they prepare for that admissions test? Especially, obviously, there's a lot of math involved. Is it similar to the SAT, or what do they have to expect?
Yeah, that's a very good question, actually. We do have some sample math questions on our website. So it's, I believe, on our admissions website. So if anyone has trouble navigating to that part, they can always send us an email, and we will direct them to that page. But yeah, those simple math questions are usually the level of German, the last year or the year before last in German high school.
Oh, I see.
So I'm not sure exactly how that reflects to American system, but I think it should be around the same. So the type of math you were doing in your last year of high school.
Okay.
And yeah, so the students can take advantage of this math test and see how they do, of course. For the English test, of course, for American students, that will not be an issue. But yeah, it is just kind of like a formality that everyone has to go through the English test. And for the cognitive test, it's again kind of hard to prepare for it, but we do send out a link. Once they've been invited to the assessment center, our admissions team will send them a link where they can, again, practice a little bit for this test.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. So there is some kind of practice element involved
Right.
for them. So
Yeah.
they are not just
Yeah.
going into it cold. Perfect. And since you touched on the math level, can you give us an idea what kind of, it looks like some of the programs that you introduced are very math heavy, obviously, right? So would you say that students who are interested in the programs should have AP Calculus in their last year at least, or what do you expect from students that are interested in your program?
Yeah, well, we don't expect our students to have a great level of knowledge in, let's say, even if they do the business analytics program, we don't expect them to know how to do programming or to know in depth about statistics or anything like this. We just kind of want them to bring an active interest to it if they do select that program. But those courses kind of start out as introductory level. So they will kind of learn it while doing the bachelor. So a student who does AP Calculus, if that is where their passion is, if that is what they're interested about, of course, it certainly helps, but it's not like a specific requirement to get into the bachelor's.
I do remember, though, you also offer a foundation year. Do you want to say a little bit about that? Because should students obviously
Yes,
not qualify for the math level that
yes,
you require, then they have another option to enter your school, right?
yes. So for students who don't qualify for direct entry into our bachelor programs, they could do the foundation year. The foundation year is 2 semesters, 1 year. There are two different tracks and that they can choose, and this gives them the chance to kind of, either work on their um, math level or kind of like get used to the university system. Our foundation year students can also get the opportunity to apply for the bachelor's directly once they finish, and they would kind of like also already have been a part of Frankfurt School, already know a lot of the bachelor students. So it's not like they're separate from the other students in that sense. They will kind of still be able to take part of the student initiatives or anything that goes on campus for our bachelor students. But yeah, this is usually students who maybe for some reason don't meet the general requirements. Then they can do this foundation year.
So that's a nice way actually even to transition into living in a new country and everything else and getting
Yes,
prepared for the
exactly.
academic
Yeah.
level. Perfect.
Yes,
And
exactly.
so a question also, so for students who would apply to the foundation year, and actually it's a question overall in terms of the accommodation that you mentioned earlier. So there are some dorms that you have for students, but I'm assuming students still will have to look outside to get housing outside as well, or do you have enough housing for them in those dorms? How
Yeah,
does
of
that
course,
work?
it is limited places. We have a total of I think 1,100 student apartments next door to our campus,
Mhm.
and there are also 4 or 5 different other options around the city. So students can apply for those once they've been accepted as a student and they have signed the study contract. So that's why it's also in the student's interest to apply as early as possible because, of course, towards the end of the application cycle, the dorms fill out quicker. But
Mhm.
definitely we prioritize first-year students and, of course, students who are coming from far away.
Okay, well, that's good to know because, yeah, it's
Hmm.
more difficult for the students internationally
Yeah, exactly.
kind of
Yeah.
plan all that. So that's perfect. One last question I have. Let me see. We touched on the foundation year. Yes. Tuition cost. I think you did mention that in your presentation, correct?
That is very true.
Yeah. So maybe you can tell us a little
Yeah.
bit regarding the cost of attending your
Yeah,
program.
sorry, that slipped my mind. Yeah, so it's 8,200 euros per semester for our bachelor
Okay.
programs, and there are two
Okay.
semesters in 1 year. We have an application fee of 100 euros, and for the foundation year, let me just check quickly to make sure I have this right, but it is 6,000 euros per semester.
6,000 per semester. Okay.
Yes, and the foundation year is 2 semesters.
Okay, perfect. And I think you mentioned it before, but just to confirm.
Sorry to cut you off. It's regarding the tuition.
Yeah.
For the semester abroad, for that semester, students would not pay tuition to Frankfurt School, but they would pay directly to our partner university. So depending on which university they choose, it may be higher or lower.
Oh, I see. Okay, that's good
Yeah,
to know. Okay.
sorry for
Okay.
cutting you off.
Okay. Oh, no, 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 no worries. That's an important part also. Um, and what should students consider in terms of housing? Like how much, for example, if they were to get a place at your dorms, how much are the dorms? Like a dorms
Yes.
rent?
So for our partner dorms, they start at 710 euros per month.
Okay.
And that would be all included, and it would be like a single apartment, let's say. So it's like their personal place, with a private bathroom, private kitchen. Um, yeah, so that's the starting price. And for dorms around the city, then the prices can kind of vary. But this is because it's from our kind of like partner offers, so that's why they start at 700, and then yeah, it goes up from there.
And do you help students with the housing? Should they not be able to get a space at the dorm anymore? I mean, do you have some suggestions, or is there
Yeah,
some
we have
kind of?
different suggestions. We can students can already take a look at it on our websites if they are interested. Like I said, there are at least 5 or 6 different dorms around the city. There are also kind of flat sharing options that German students do quite often. I've done it also myself. Those are of course cheaper, but usually flat shares are easier to do once the student has moved to Germany, and they can visit those apartments. They can maybe find a friend that they want to live with or another student. And then this kind of lowers the price per month. But of course, some people prefer living by themselves also, or prefer the kind of like all-inclusive options that the dorms offer. So they can also go for those.
But there's definitely someone who would help them navigate that part of the.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay, that's good to know. Well, thank you so much for answering all these additional questions here that I had.
Of course,
Yeah, I
my pleasure.
appreciate that. So, well, we have reached the end of today's Global College Spotlight here. A big thank you to everyone for joining us, and of course to Benny for introducing us to the Frankfurt School of Finance and Management and its fantastic programs. Before I let you all go, I have a quick update for our next Global College Spotlight on May 12th. We have Bard College Berlin as our guest. You might be familiar with Bard College in the US, so please mark your calendars and join us for our May Global College Spotlight, to hear more about Bard College Berlin. And with that, I wish everyone a wonderful day or evening, depending on where you are. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you hopefully in May. Thanks so much, everyone.